Welcome to Revenge Lollipop. Don't forget to subscribe. And the gift that shattered everything I used to love Christmas. The lights, the music, the warmth. In the air, all of it made me feel like maybe this year would be different. That maybe my family would see me. Not just the quiet daughter. Not just the one who never caused problems, but Lena, a person who mattered. But this Christmas destroyed that illusion. I am 24 now. I've had my own place for a year, working 2 jobs to stay afloat. My younger brother, Josh, just turned 21. He still lives at home, still gets everything handed to him. I told myself I didn't mind, that I didn't need gifts or big gestures to feel loved. But I did. When Mom called to invite me for Christmas Eve dinner, her voice was distant, like I was a distant cousin, not her daughter. I baked 2 pies, brought a bottle of wine, and walked into that house hoping maybe this time they'd say, "We're proud of you." The house was glowing with decorations. My parents beamed when Josh walked down the stairs. Dad even gave him a toast at dinner. To my son, our pride, and me, I was the one clearing the plates. Then came the gift exchange. Josh unwrapped a set of keys. "What's this?" He laughed, but his eyes already sparkled. Mom and Dad shouted, "Surprise!" Outside in the driveway sat a brand new black Jeep. He ran out in his socks, laughing, hugging them both. My mom cried. I was frozen. My hands were still on my lap. No one looked at me, Lena, Dad said, almost as an afterthought. "Yours is on the mantel." I got up slowly, feeling the heat behind my eyes. There beside the candle was a tiny red envelope, with my name on it in rushed handwriting. Inside was a single dollar bill, not even a card, just the bill, and the words, "Merry Christmas. Don't spend it all in one place." They laughed like it was a joke. I laughed too, and then I excused myself to the bathroom, locked the door, and let myself cry quietly. Not because I wanted a car, but because I wanted to matter. At 12 a.m., while they slept, I took my pies, my coat, and my self-respect, and walked out. I didn't leave a note. I didn't say goodbye. I blocked their numbers, deleted the family group chat, and I vanished. And the fire they ignored, I wasn't born a fighter. I became one the night they closed the door in my face. And I was 19, standing on the front steps with a backpack, tears mixing with rain, while my father said, "If you're not going to college, you're not going to live here." No goodbye, no hug. Just shame because I chose kitchens over classrooms. Brielle stood behind him, arms crossed, proud of how fast they gave up on me. I took the bus downtown that night, slept in a shelter, got my first job scrubbing toilets at a cheap diner by the freeway. They didn't even pay hourly, just handed me cash in an envelope every Friday. I learned every inch of that kitchen. How to stretch scraps into meals, how to clean fryers without burning skin, how to survive on black coffee and leftover rice. 3 years later, I had 2 jobs, no sleep, and enough savings to rent a 600 square foot space with broken sinks and peeling paint. Reyes was born from that room. I painted walls at night, cooked in borrowed pans, burned dishes, cried over bills, slept on sacks of rice in the back during slow shifts. But I never stopped. No one helped me. Certainly not the people laughing at my table tonight. The reveal. The suited man stood just behind me, looking around the room like someone who knew good things when he saw them. "Who owns this place?" he asked again, nodding in appreciation. "The design, the food, the energy, it's flawless." All eyes turned to me. Brielle looked annoyed, like his question had interrupted her performance. I stepped forward just enough so everyone could hear. "I do," I said evenly. "I'm Liana Reyes. I own this restaurant." The air shifted. Forks paused mid-bite. Brielle's smirk cracked. Dad's hand froze over his wine glass. "You own it?" Mom asked, barely audible. The man smiled wide. "Incredible. You've created something remarkable here. I run a hospitality group and I've toured restaurants all year. This is easily one of the best I've seen. Please call me Marco. We should talk." I shook his hand. "Thank you, Marco. I'd be happy to." Then I turned back to my family. Brielle's mouth opened, but no words came out. She looked like she'd swallowed her insult whole. Dad looked down at his plate, suddenly quiet. The same people who had called me trash worker were now sitting in my restaurant, eating my food, shocked, speechless by the truth they never cared to know. And I hadn't even begun. The taste of regret. The silence dragged, heavy and awkward, until Brielle finally broke it. "You never said anything," she snapped, trying to sound offended, like she was the one betrayed. "We thought you were just working here." I raised an eyebrow. You mean scrubbing trash? Like you said earlier? She winced. Dad cleared his throat. Why didn't you tell us, Liana? We would've what? I cut in. Supported me? Believed in me? Stayed in touch? I let the words sink in. You didn't want to know who I became. You only cared about who I wasn't a lawyer, a doctor, someone impressive enough for your dinner parties. Brielle's voice went flat. You still could have mentioned it. No need to be so dramatic. I walked toward their table, calm and controlled. You sat here, I said, gesturing to the wine. The handcrafted plates, the chef-curated courses, eating my food in my space while calling me a poor trash worker. And now I added, looking Brielle dead in the eye. You're tasting exactly what that trash built. No one laughed this time. The bill comes due. They tried to regroup, pretend it wasn't a big deal. Mom gave a nervous laugh. Well, all that matters is we're proud of you now. Now, not when I was sleeping in kitchens. Not when I called once and Brielle told me, just Google food banks. Not when I invited them to my soft opening 2 years ago and no one replied. Only now because success had made me visible. Marco, the suited man, gave me a respectful nod and stepped away, promising to follow up about investment options. The moment he left, Brielle leaned across the table, her tone shifting. If you're doing so well, maybe you could help with Dad's retirement plan, she said sweetly. And I was actually thinking of getting into business too, a cafe maybe. With your help, of course. I blinked. You want me to invest in you, I asked. She smiled like it was a joke, like it was obvious. I turned, walked to the back, and returned moments later with a leather bill folder. Dad frowned. What's that? I placed it on the table. The full bill for the private dinner. No discount, no comp, no family rate. You invited yourselves. You insulted me. You dined like royalty, and I said, the least you can do is pay like it. Brielle stared. You're serious? As serious as you were when you called me trash? She looked to Mom, then Dad, but no one came to her rescue. Eventually, Dad pulled out his card and muttered, fine. Closure is served. They left quietly. No hugs, no photos. No, we're so proud of you. Just stiff goodbyes and bitter expressions. As they walked out the door, I didn't follow. I stayed at the entrance, arms crossed, watching them disappear into the night like guests who had overstayed their welcome. I didn't feel victorious, I felt free. For years I'd carried their words like shackles. Now all I carried was my name on the door, on the menu, on every plate that left my kitchen. They never saw me as worthy until a stranger did, but I wasn't here to prove myself to them anymore. Later that night, as we cleaned up, one of my staff asked, Hey, who were those people? They were intense. I smiled. Just people who taught me exactly what kind of woman I'd never be. Then I flipped the lights off, locked the doors to my restaurant, and walked home. For the first time, fully at peace with leaving them outside. Forever. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.